Så det nett I veggene og I taket, og så ballen I spill hele tiden da. Og alle får liksom litt skåret en del mål, alle får litt kjeft, og du får så ekstrem temperatur da.
Really?
Ja.
Cool.
Så det dødsbra.
I'm lucky enough to play with a team that they know each other and they're very calm.
Ja.
Very good guys.
Ja.
And so we play good football. They want to play good football. You want it to be interesting and diverse and I
like ballen på bakken og
ball on the ground, ball to feet, they don't if anything goes wrong it's just it went wrong, we'll try again, Good vibe.
Ja, kult.
And I played with so many kind of,
Ja, hvordan nivå du på?
Well, I was at Chelsea as a kid.
Var det?
Yeah.
Wow, du bare ta mikken, vi bare begynner vi nå. Men mikken vil du ha headset på eller av?
Ja.
Det det beste. Wow, så går vi rett inn I fotball her.
Ja.
Det nydelig å ha det her, Dominic. Og så gikk vi bare rett inn I fotball med en gang.
It's football passion that brings us together, I think.
Jeg tror det. Musikk og fotball. Fotball aller først.
Without a doubt. And if you fish as well, then we'll have one more thing in common.
Du, jeg så jo litt research før det intervjuet her. Og så jeg en reportasje fra Migrapolis, var det det?
Yes, that's correct.
På NRK1.
Yes,
jeg visste ikke at du fisket.
Yes, with Bennett Lund, who passed away, unfortunately. But we had a wonderful morning. Took her up at 4 o'clock in the morning to Fornebu. On the back here, actually.
Yes, jeg synes det var noe kjent.
It's here, yeah. And we went fly fishing.
Nice.
It was a beautiful morning.
Det så faktisk ut som du var litt brydd at hun var der også. Jeg vet ikke hvor lenge dere holdt på. Det var sånn du stod og fisket, alt var så rolig, og så begynte du å snakke hele tiden. Så du var litt sånn brydd på slutten av innslaget.
I must admit, fishing for me is like a bit like a religion. It's my therapy. So I do so much of this talking that when I go away, I use the term from the Simon and Garfunkel song, The Sound of Silence.
Ja.
I love the sound of silence. And I generally find it standing in a river, casting a fly, and not hearing my own voice, which is an absolute pleasure sometimes.
Du jo I en bransje hvor du nettverker, snakker med folk, du selger ting, du på hele tiden da. Så kommer dit og bare...
It doesn't stop, that's for sure. Yeah, it is about the communication, and it's becoming more and more about communication because people are becoming so distant in their professional lives or the tools that they're using. They can distance themselves from people, and the tools that we're using are the complete opposite, bringing people back together through body, through communication, through touch, through sense, through all those elements that have made, in fact, if I was to talk about the hotel in particular, an enormous success, because we are very informal as a property. I truly believe the future of service, and I do a lot of presentations about this, is in the informality of service.
I was born to serve. Det sitatet jeg har sett godt igjen på Google-søk.
I was definitely born to serve. I truly believe it. Truly believe it. And I had my aspirations of professional football and rock stardom, and I still enjoy both. But I truly believe my vocation is exactly what I do. I found my thing, if you like.
Ok, la oss ta det kronologisk. Vi var på Chelsea. For du spiller fotball, vi begge skal spille fotball etterpå.
We shall, yes. I should big up my team, Hostler, who are one of the greatest teams I've played with in many, many years because they love to play football.
Det en divisjonssystem?
They're a seven-a-side team and they have various categories. In fact, it was really funny because I was with them a couple of days ago and I saw the veterans playing. And they know that I love to play football, and they know I enjoy playing football, and they know that I'm really into football. And when I play with them, they obviously want me to play with the team. And I saw the veterans, and I'm like, well, I could play with them. And they're like, no, you have to be over 55. And I'm like, well, I am over 55. And they were like, whoa, that's really cool, man. We had no idea you were so old. And I'm like, well, I could play in all three categories of teams. And in all honesty, I'm not sure what division they play in, and I should know myself.
Yeah.
But what I do know is I thoroughly enjoy playing football with them. That bit I know.
Det som gutta på vårt lag sier også, og de her har spilt tippeliga, og utlandet noen som har spilt og høyt nivå, bare som dette her noe gøyeste de har gjort. Så spiller sånn med kompiser.
Exactly.
5:00 på en tirsdag.
Exactly.
Og folk kan bli så sure at de går hjem fra trening før. Så snakker ikke med hverandre etter trening. Det helt fantastisk. Voksne mennesker kan bli sånn. Det et eller annet spesielt da.
Yeah. I've taken it to another level actually because I referee now.
Wow.
And I refereed the first 2 matches. I gave away my first penalty 2 days ago.
Nice.
And it was a penalty.
Yeah.
I blew it in. It was 100%. I had my cards ready in my pocket. I have a yellow and a red card. I haven't brandished them yet. But I'm waiting for the occasion to bring those 2 out to play. But I really enjoyed the refereeing part. And I think it's if you have a love of football and you enjoy football, you know a referee can make a difference to a game. And so I've started refereeing now as well, which I really enjoy.
Du har til og med begynt å tjene i fotball, altså du gir tilbake igjen til fotballen med å være dommer. Men det helt sjukt å tenke på. Når vi var unge, så tenkte du aldri hvem den her dommeren som stiller opp for 200 kroner og står her og dømmer, og så vi kan stå her og være tullinger og spille fotball. Det helt sprøtt å tenke på.
If I was to be brutally honest, if I had my time again, I would, of course I'd love to be a footballer, but the second choice would be a referee. I'd be a professional referee now, and I'd be traveling the world refereeing, hopefully at the highest level, and thoroughly enjoying myself. I'm sure I'd be hated by many because, unfortunately, referees are. That's just the nature of the game. But I think it's. I really enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it.
Det tror jeg på. Når du snakker om noe, faen, kanskje jeg skulle prøve det selv og gi noe tilbake igjen og få ut liksom. Det jo spennende da, å se på lagen og prøve å holde seg nøytral.
Exactly. Also, exactly. The neutrality is really, really good because you're just making decisions based on the rules of the game and also your interpretation of the game, which is very important. I was watching. Så holde folk rolig. Yeah, not just keeping people under control is important, but it's also interpreting. A 50-50 ball, it wasn't a foul. It was a 50-50 ball. They both went in, they both put their heart and soul into it, and it went crunch. They both came out of it, but it wasn't a foul. There was no foul on either side. It was just a 50-50 ball. And a footballer needs, you also need a footballer to kind of understand that, and that commitment that you have to make to kind of make that tackle work. Because if one goes 70 and one goes 30, there's going to be pain on one side, that's for sure. So for me, it's the interpretation of the game, watching the game, and there is, I wouldn't say a grey zone, but there is definitely a referee's interpretation that's very, very important to make a game flow.
Jeg husker jeg var fotballdommer for noen kids ut på Kalvøya, ABC-cup, og det var sånn 7-8-9-åringer, og jeg synes det var helt jævlig vanskelig, men jeg tror jeg har litt dårlig konsentrasjonsevne, så jeg falt jo ut av kampene, og så plutselig hører jeg en eller annen sånn far som bare «Hei! Hva faen da? Hvem det skal?» Så tok jeg bare armen ut. Men selv da så var det vanskelig både det å holde seg konsentrert, og følge med hele tiden, ikke tenke på noe annet. Men en gang du tenker på noe annet, så du kjørt da. Og så må du bare sånn, for faen. Og så lærte du mye triks sånn, se på spillerens reaksjoner, hvilken vei du skal. For du jo i tvil ganske mye når du dømmer da.
Yeah, without a doubt. They get hell. I mean, I've seen parents give referees absolute hell. And it's not fair in a way, because the guy's just trying to do his job. Okay, if he's not doing his job well, that's one thing. But there was a guy on that, it was 2 days ago, there was a guy who was, he was from the north of Norway, and he had plenty to say for himself. And eventually it was an obvious handball. I gave the handball, and he was yakking away about something about handball. I said, listen, you've got the foul, shut up. And he looked at me, I said, listen, don't do it again, mate, because then I'm going to come down on you, so just shut up.
Men du får en liten edge med engelsken i kampen.
Oh, without a doubt. This is the language of football.
Men svarer spilleren på norsk eller på engelsk?
He got back to me in Norwegian, but I gave it back to him in English.
Okay.
This is. We could do a whole program on this language, because it's.
Jeg har tenkt mye på det, ja.
It's very interesting.
Vet du hva, jeg har satt opp som et punkt på sånn, kanskje vi kan snakke om det på slutten, eller noe, fordi jeg har mye venner fra Australia, og ble kjent med mye engelskmenn i London, ikke London, men i Trondheim og litt forskjellige steder i Norge. Og i motsetning til andre europeere som også snakket engelsk, men de bytta veldig fort til norsk. Mens australienere og amerikanere og engelskmenn, de gjorde ikke det. For de hadde, jeg tror det et eller annet sånt, det en sosial edge med det der, spesielt ut på byen da, i det sosiale med det med å sjekke damer, få en edge i sosiale samtaler. Du høres jo litt kulere ut med en gang du snakker engelsk, og jeg tror veldig mange vegrer seg for å gå over til norsk, for gå over til gebrokkent norsk et stor forskjell da.
Yeah. As I say, we could do a whole program on this, because it's very interesting. And people do talk to me about it, but I have a lot of people who know me. I've been here a long time. I will You know, and it's the truth. And I speak not that I don't speak Norwegian, because I do speak Norwegian, but I use very little Norwegian in my life, if you like, in my everyday life. With my children, I speak English. With my wife, I speak English. With my colleagues at work, I speak English. And with the guests at the hotel, I speak English. I speak French as well, and I do that quite a bit at work. It's just one of those things. My job relies predominantly on my levels of communication, and I understand that, and it's something that's the foundation of what I do. And if it turns into a language that I don't probably completely command or have command of, I lose part of that skill. And this is the brutal truth. And to lose that, for me, is a major disadvantage. And if I can get away, if I can work in the way that I do and communicate at the level that I do and achieve what I've done, I presume I'm doing something right. Now, I don't show any disrespect for a country and a language, because I do speak Norwegian, and when people come in and there is obviously a communication issue, I will switch to Norwegian without a problem. But it's the level that I'm working at, and especially the international level that I'm working at, it seems to be appropriate. It also seems to be appropriate for the property that I'm running at the moment, which is the Thief Hotel. We have, predominantly an international clientele. We must be the most international spot outside of the airport, must be the Thief Hotel. So the language thing actually works, but it's always worked. I have a little anecdote where this is concerned, is that I opened a club here called Buddha Bar, which was back in the day. Yes. Legendary place. It was massive, 800 people, and a lot of stuff went on. We did a lot of good stuff, and it was a very interesting place. And I'd been working a lot in Paris, and I was working with some French people, and we used to greet people on the door in French. Now, it's like stealing what we have an expression at the hotel, stealing you away from everyday life. Your everyday life would be to be greeted by somebody in Norwegian at a Norwegian club and say, hei, velkommen. And you see how you laugh, and the words even leave my mouth. We used to say bonsoir.
Yeah.
And when you say bonsoir to somebody, it just takes them out of their everyday life, and suddenly they're in Paris and they're eating croissant and in a cafe and there's pastis and there's the whole pain au chocolat and there's boulangerie and there's parfum and there's all these French things, the basic French things that kind of take your senses somewhere else. And we also used to comment a lot on the way that people looked, because we reappreciated when you come to the club, you've made an effort. You've taken time to come, to get yourself ready. You've bought a new dress, you bought a new pair of trousers, you had your hair done, whatever it may be. And we were very keen to kind of emphasize that, first of all, we appreciated what you've done and that we recognized it. And it just, because a girl would walk in and say, a lovely dress, or really like your shoes, have a nice evening. And she'd be like, oh my goodness, you see my shoes? Or in French, or in any, it didn't really matter in a sense, as long as you just took them out of their everyday life. And also you create, and I said another show we could do about this, about doors, how establishments are run from the door. You run a club from the door. It starts at the door. In fact, it starts probably before you've even got to the door. But anyway, when you physically it happens, it starts at the door. And if you can create that kind of charm, that kind of welcome, that warm feeling, and especially in another language, to somebody entering your establishment, I guarantee the effect inside the establishment is completely different. And we used to work on this, and not in a cynical level or a manipulative level, but just on a sensual level. When you start working with people's senses, your club becomes very sensual. And you can ask for nothing more than a sensual club, because then stuff can happen. People interact in a different way, they groove in a different way, they drink in a different way, they socialize in a different way. And you have a very, very interesting arena to work with.
Spesielt nordmenn som elsker jo, som forandrer seg med en gang de forlater.
Exactly. And we used to get them involved. You'd shake people's hands, you'd give girls kisses on the door, you'd welcome them like they were your best friends. And as I said, there's nothing cynical about it. There's nothing cynical about making somebody feel welcome. It's part of my industry, and it's part of what we do, and it's part of what we do very, very well. And if you can take that to a level where people feel extremely appreciated. They feel recognized. They feel like you are there to take care of them. And I've always taken this job very, very seriously. This is my profession. We had a little bit of a chat before we started about having a drink. And you said, well, we're not going to have a drink today because I'm playing football tonight. I'm like, well, I don't drink in any case, so you can forget that. And he was like, oh, that's right, yeah, you don't drink. I've never drunk, in a sense. I've tasted alcohol. I know the wines and the beers and the spirits that I sell. But I don't like the effect of alcohol.
Så det noe som, har du levd et normalt liv, eller ikke normalt liv, men et normalt konsum? Har du konsumert alkohol på et normalt nivå en gang I tenårene, eller har du alltid bare holdt deg borte?
You mean, have I ever been drunk? Is that what you're asking? In fact, I can't remember the last time I was drunk. Well, I could probably remember it, and it was probably when I was 18, but I can't remember it because it was that long ago. But I'm a true believer in the natural sense of things, and I don't believe if you're a teacher or a pilot or a road sweep or somebody who works in Rimi, you can go to work drunk or drink alcohol at work. So what makes my job any different? Just because I work in that milieu, it doesn't mean that I can actually consume. And I'm a real believer in the natural sense of, if I'm happy, I'm happy. It's because I'm naturally happy. And if I'm sad it's because I'm naturally sad. Not because I'm hungover from the day before or the day before that, or I said something stupid when I was drunk to somebody and I regret it, or I did something with a girl that I shouldn't have done because I was drunk. And that's not my way. It is a very natural. If I'm going to do something, I will be responsible for it.
Sannsynligvis har du hatt flere kvelder på byen hvor du egentlig har vært på den andre siden av, og du har vært på den profesjonelle siden enn på klientellsiden.
Have I been in that situation?
Nei, altså, du har kanskje sannsynligvis flere døgn eller kvelder I ditt liv hvor du har vært på jobb framfor å ha vært I klientell eller vært ute på byen selv. Så du har stått mye mer egentlig på, har du nesten vært mer på jobb enn du har vært.
Oh, without a doubt.
Ute på gode liv.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Oh, I work every day.
Hvor kommer det fra? For du har jo en veldig spesiell reise da. Vil du si at du sånn self-educated?
Yes.
At du liksom, du har street knowledge hele veien?
Well, yeah, but self-educated in the sense that I put myself in a position where I was taught by what I presume to be very, very good people. So my education was started in London. But it should start at the beginning. Just a quick brief on the very beginning. I was adopted into an English family. I don't know my mother or my father. I've just recently found a photo of my father, so I know somebody who looks like me now, which is it's quite unique. Wow. It's really quite special.
Hvor kom det foto fra?
My brother.
Wow, så har han fasiten?
He is my biological brother from our father.
Okay.
But I've just found him, literally just found him.
Shit.
Yeah. But that's another story.
Next podcast.
Yeah, next podcast. Adoption, transracial adoption, that's a super interesting one. Because my parents are both white. And I was raised, I got adopted posh in a sense. I was adopted into a house in Wimbledon, which is a very nice suburb of London where the tennis tournament is. And
forklarer også Chelsea.
Chelsea, but that's because it's South London. Yeah. Wimbledon weren't a glam. When I was a kid, Wimbledon were an Isthmian League side. My first ever football game was Wimbledon against Metropolitan Police at Plough Lane. And I must have been 8 years old. I remember it to this day.
Og da Wimbledon de gikk opp I Premier League.
Then they went to win the FA Cup eventually.
På 7-8 år. Yeah. Det gikk helt superfort.
Every season they got promoted and now...
helt til Drillo kom.
Exactly. and Bjørn Gjelsten.
Ja, jeg kjøpte jo klubben nå.
Exactly.
Og da det gikk.
Bjørn Rune, yeah. Nice guy actually. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, so the adoption was, I was adopted into this English family. I have 8 brothers and sisters, and 4 of us were adopted. My mother gave birth to 5. So we were a large Catholic family in a beautiful big house in Wimbledon, and so life was pretty dandy. I landed well, I must admit. I was very, very lucky. And my brothers and sisters all went to university. I was the only child not to go to university, but then my father kind of took me through private education and tried to get me back on the straight and narrow because I was a little bit wayward without going into too much detail, I was a good kid, but I was, I had my own ideas. And to cut a long story short, I have a French grandmother. And he sent me to live with my French grandmother in Paris. And I moved when I was 18 from London. And I moved in with her. And she was an older lady. I mean, she was, and I was her little grandson, so she wanted to take care of me. But I wanted to explore Paris. And
you did.
I definitely did. Oh, my goodness. Between 80 and 2000, I was there for like 18, almost 20 years. Amazing. Paris was absolutely on fire. Some of the best years Paris has ever seen.
Var det 70-80-tallet?
It was 80s. I arrived there in 81, and I left in 98, probably. Wow. 99.
Så mye som skjedde sånn på kultur- og musikkfronten.
It was incredible.
Det var slutten av
I had
disco.
DJ Cam and Giles Peterson and David Guetta and all those boys. They was paying for me for like a beer and 100 kroner.
Shit.
I remember these boys. They were, and David Guetta, in fact, when I met David Guetta, first of all, he was a bartender in the Bandouche.
Wow. Så han begynte bare som
He was bartender. His girlfriend Cathy was on the coat check. Actually, David came to stay in the hotel a couple of weeks ago, and we had a little reminisce about Paris and the day and the Bandouche. And he's a ledge now. I mean, the dude's he's doing pretty damn well for himself, for a man who was standing behind a bar in one of the probably the coolest club in Paris at the time.
Wow. Så, men det er så rart at jeg tror nesten ingen nordmenn vet, altså en gang bakgrunnen at han var en house-stjerne, eller en DJ, en sånn super fransk DJ, før han slo gjennom i USA og hele pakka der. Det vet jo nesten ingen i Norge i det hele tatt.
Exactly. Nice guy too. Ja, we had a really nice time.
Jeg har hørt det, at han er utrolig, han er veldig sånn passionate, men ekstremt veldig sånn happy fyr.
Totally.
Ja.
Polite, friendly, centered, focused. I mean, he's a good guy. Cute. But I've known him for over 30 years now.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough to meet a Norwegian girl, and I should big up a girl called Jurun, who now works in Stockholm.
Big up Jurun.
Big up Jurun. Respect. Because I got a job in a fruit cocktail bar called Le Paradis de Fruits. And it was it's still there, still exists. They have many different outlets in Paris, but there was one very famous one in Saint-Michel. And Le Paradis de Fruits was a place where you made fruit cocktail drinks. And they clicked with me immediately. They could see that the profile was right. This guy who spoke English, stand behind their bar and making these fruit cocktails in this kind of tropical paradise of a restaurant. And I did that for 2 years. And Jurun came in as a guest, and we kind of just made friends. And she was working in this really nice place called La Mousson. La Mousson was a place where Catherine Deneuve and Jean Nouvel and all these really kind of cool, hip Parisians hung out. And she took me there. She was a waitress there. She said, "Listen, Dominic, come and see this place, because you're good, you should maybe be doing something different and making fruit cocktails." So I went to this place. Long story short, again, another big up is to Nicolas and Charlotte Testu. They are half Swedish, half French. They still own a place called Le Fumoir. Now, Le Fumoir is opposite Louvre. It's a very famous cafe in Paris. Now, beautiful place. And any Scandinavians who go in there will actually, if you look around, you'll see the Scandinavian detail. It's very French. It's a French institution almost now. But if you look at the detail, you'll see little moments of Sweden in there, or moments of Scandinavia. Anyway, this restaurant called La Mousson, it was very cool, and they saw me, and they clicked again. They said, "Listen, this guy could do something for us." So I started running the bar for them, and I stayed with them and opened a new place called the China Club. And then my high point was when I opened my own place, which was called La Casbah. Now, La Casbah was a take on a bar, what we call a bar à thème in French. It means a themed bar, but it was probably the first one that ever existed, definitely in France, and let alone Europe. I mean, we really went over the top and went to Marrakesh and bought all these bits and pieces and fountains and tiles and doors and windows, and we created in the back streets of Paris, which was not a famous area at the time. It's very cool now. A place called La Casbah. Now, the thing for me about the Casbah was it was all about the door, again, the front. And it was like a dark alley, and there was two enormous doormen. One was called Abraham, and one was called Mourad. Mourad was from Morocco, and Abraham was from Liberia. I mean, just two giants. And there was this dark space, two guys standing in the dark space, and two massive doors behind these two guys. Nothing else. And that was Le Casbah. But the trick was, in fact, when you open these doors, you walked into Aladdin's cave. I have goosebumps thinking about it. And just the doors, the smell of the doors. These doors are made from cedar wood. And I went back there. I had a bit of a bad experience. I went back there and I was very sad because it's not what it was. But the smell of the doors is still there. And I was almost in tears standing and smelling these doors. We create absolute magic at Le Casbah. As I mentioned before, Le Bain Douche was the place to go, and that was David Guetta's place. And I should tangent slightly on this one because there's a story about a physionomiste. Now, if you talk about physionomiste in Paris, it's somebody who judges you physically. Now, a physionomiste is a great job in Paris because the clubs were very, very protective of their doors and they were very selective. And there was two famous physionomistes in Paris. One was called Michelin and one was called Jacques Henry. Now, Michelin, anybody who knows Paris, and I'm sure people who are hearing this will know, the ones who know the Bain Douche back in the day, Michelin was a ledge. She was the #1 physionomiste in Paris, without a doubt. And she was incredible because she just controlled that door, and you had to get in. I mean, you just had to get into the Bain Douche. And you stand outside, and she'd be looking over and picking people out of the crowd. Yes, you can come. Oh, no, not you. No, I told you 2 weeks ago you're never coming in here. Go, literally.
Wow, brutalt. Det er sånn som jeg husker hvis jeg ser på Studio 54, altså de filmene der.
Same. But the thing is, I did it at the Buddha. I did it at Buddha Bar, and people who know Buddha know that exactly what I did. I did exactly the same thing. But I suppose there's a way of doing it. She was pretty arrogant about it, but she could afford to be. She was Marilyn of the Bain Douche, and you had to get into the Bain Douche. There was no two ways about it. In fact, they say, the rumor has it, she had a secret address. Nobody knew where she lived because she was so hated by some that it was almost dangerous. But she was there every night. Every night Marilyn was outside the Bain Douche. She had her boys with her. The big guys was there in case there was any trouble. And she would rule that door. And it created a magic inside the club because she was so dominant outside on this door. Anyways, where was I? The doors of the Casbah. Yeah, we had Abraham and Jack, and we had a physionomist called Jacques Henry. He was this kind of #2. He was the second guy. But what we managed to do was create this kind of vibe around something that wasn't particularly trendy before, but we managed to hit the nail on the head. And sometimes these things happen. It's a bit like The Thief. We just hit the nail on the head at exactly the right time, in exactly the right place, when the market needed it. And we did the same thing with Le Casbah. North Africans weren't particularly well viewed. It was like this whole thing about les Arabes. And France wasn't too kind of cool with it in a sense. But the the sort of mystic, the magic, the beauty, the colors, the textures, the herbs, the spices, it was there. All the elements were there to make something very, very magical. And we were brave enough to do it. And we built Le Casbah.
Og hvor begynner den visjonen der da? Altså, du må jo ha de rette kontaktene, du må ha penger. Du kjente jo sikkert veldig mange, du har vært der veldig mange år i Paris, men altså, det er et gutsy move å starte en egen klubb i Paris. Med den hvor mye var visjonen, og hvor mye ble liksom til underveis på det stedet der?
Yeah, I believe like anything, you need to be highly professional, highly dedicated, and highly focused, but you need a big slice of luck as well. I mean,
yeah,
it is. It's luck for lack of it. I think you make your own luck. I think if you are on that vibe and on that energy and in the kind of groove, you create your own luck. Luck will come to you in a sense. As long as you're serious about this, you can't just start throwing fads around and then despairing and that's cool. No, it's not anymore. No, I'm going to change. You have to have some kind of foundation for this. And when we did Buddha, of course, Buddha was, the Buddha Bar existed before. And in fact, I remember the Thai embassy contacted me and said, listen, dude, Buddhism and drink don't mix, so you got to stop using this name. And I'm like, I'm very sorry, but the place is called Buddha Bar, and there are many Buddha bars in the world, so you can start war with everybody. That's entirely up to you, but we will do this.
Du inviterte det isteden på
I didn't go that far, but I would be very happy to welcome them. Anyway, the idea was, as I say, to take the beauty of North Africa and create a club around it, and we did exactly that. And I was working with another big up, the guy called Philippe Desrois. Philippe Desrois was a guy from Club Méditerranée. Genius. This guy was an absolute genius. He was brilliant with interior. He was brilliant with deco. He was brilliant with creating the kind of visual backdrop for a club. It was he was magic, this guy. And I remember had a meeting with the staff, and I knew a lot of people in Paris, and so I chose all these people, and I sat down with these people, and I said, this is the Casbah, this is the concept we want to do. You're going to do this. Blah, blah, blah. I remember looking at everybody, thinking, damn, there's not one French person here. And I rang Philippe. I remember picking up my phone. I said, Philippe, I got something to tell you, mate. I got all the staff. They're brilliant, but there's not one French person in the group. And he's like, Dominic, if that's your vision, then
let's go.
There's a reason for it. And I'm like, you're right. And when you look at La Casbah, in fact, La Casbah was a walled city in a sense, and everything was inside. I mean, there was every shape, color, form everything was there. So it was a real melting pot in a sense. And I think we managed to create that in Paris, and that was legendary. We were kicking the bandouche all over the place. Palace, Privilège, all the other clubs were like, what the hell?
Og dette her når du 20-årene?
I was 24.
Ikke det sjukt å tenke på at du liksom så produktiv og så business-smart? Men det sikkert mye du kan sikkert uendelig mye mer nå enn da, men at man har den kreative boosten der, og så mye vilje, og så mye tid da, sikkert å stå på vilje i de 20-årene. Savner du den tida, eller?
No, I don't miss it.
Du maksa det?
No, I really enjoy. I reminisce, and I still see people who are part of that who tell me, you know, what a wonderful time it was. In fact, I met many Norwegians in my club in Paris, and so when I came to Oslo, life got a little bit easier for me because they knew what I did in Paris. They'd been to my clubs in Paris and they'd seen what I could do.
Wow! And
when I came to Oslo, they were like, "Okay, what about doing what you did in Paris here?" And the first person, another massive big up, Cicel Quello. Cicel Quello in the industry was a ledge, an absolute ledge. She's still in the industry and doing very well, I hope. I don't see her that often anymore, which is a shame, but I have a lot of respect for this lady because she started a place called Aqua.
Og da når vi... Hvilket år vi nå?
Oh, you know, you should never ask me about I barely know my own age. I'm serious. I'm so bad on dates.
Du vet at du kan spille 3 nivåer på fotball.
Yeah, that's about all. That's about all. Exactly. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm really bad on ages. But it was...
Når kom du til Norge?
Don't even go there, because you're asking the wrong questions. Because I was back and forth in the first 3 or 4 years. I was back and forth between Paris, and I didn't settle. I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. But Aqua was top of my head. Don't know. Late 90s.
Jeg tenkte for noen tilfeldigheter. Altså, du ble headhunta der du jobbet til det neste stedet hun norske Jorunn, var det det?
Jorunn, yeah, that was La Mousson.
Og hun tok deg med hjem til Oslo for hennes del?
No.
Nei?
It wasn't Jorunn.
Wow,
it was Trudy.
Ok, det kom en ny norsk igjen.
There was a new Norwegian girl called Trudy. And she's the mother of our son, Dylan.
Vakkert.
Who's 25 now and a father of his own. He has 2 children. So I'm a grandfather.
Wow!
I know. That's another story. But when I came to Oslo, there was Cicel and Christopher Vestberg, who's another very, very cool guy and a good friend. They were looking to start a restaurant, and if I remember correctly, they took me to a place on the back of Sully, which was, I don't know if it was some kind of tapas restaurant, some underground restaurant.
Snakker vi rett rundt ved Palace Grill.
Exactly. Keep going down from Palace Grill towards Arca Brigga, and then on the way down there's a strange Spanish tapas place thing that existed back in the day. I don't know what it is now, but it was underground. And their idea was to create, in this location, before the tapas place was there, it was a place called 360 or some degrees under the sea, because it was actually located, and the name of the place was representative of its physical location in the city. And that was the idea. And they came to me and said, Dominic, do you want to be part of this? And I'm like, listen, let's have a look. So they took me to this place. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, nice. It's you guys. I like you guys. You guys are cool. So, yeah, maybe let's do this. And then it didn't happen.
No.
And then I can't remember how long it was after this. Suddenly, this aqua thing came along. And Sissel came to me and approached me and said, listen, will you do this for me? Will you front it? And I'm like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. So I fronted, actually, we had a laid-back section and a gourmet section. And there was a bar, and it was kicking, and everybody was there. And it was probably what I would describe as one of the first times that there was some kind of pizzazz in the city. Before, I was going to the clubs, they was all pretty dark, and you couldn't see if you were wearing Gucci, Prada, or Hennes & Mauritz. I mean, it was... But Aqua was like a goldfish bowl. And you could see people. People would walk around. The girls would get up and go to the toilet 5 times a night just to show the new dress. And it was one of those really kind of... It became pretty glamorous.
Så det var mye klubber I utgangspunktet I Oslo, mye sånn mørke kjellere eller rockeklubber.
Yeah, it was all dark. It was all halvlited and dark, It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't cocktaily. It wasn't shishi. It wasn't guest listy. It was very pretty. It was pretty kind of basic, but cool, head on and those sort of places. Yeah. And Aqua Sissel did something completely different, and she took the idea from River Cafe, which was a very cool place in London, and off we went. And we absolutely rocked the city. It was brilliant. It was a very cool time. And big up to her, because she saw that what I did in Paris, I could duplicate basically, to a certain extent, in Oslo. And I worked with some really good people there. There were some really, really nice people. One, I'm big up. This is going to be a big up show, because I got to big up a few people here. There's a girl called Magda. Magda, who now owns Le Benjamin in Grünnløkka. I remember coming into, just, coming from Paris and working with some really good people. And I was kind of frustrated in Norway, because I didn't see people seeing this as a profession, what I was doing. They saw it as a job they could do between jobs, or they made good tips. So, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. But she was proper business. This girl, I was like, man, you are good. And not only are you good, you have an understanding of this business and this profession. And it just goes to show what she's doing now. She's got one of the best restaurants in town. And she's a top girl, so big up Magda.
Har du sett noen utesteder eller klubber I Oslo som har liksom gått samme etter at du kom til Oslo og gjorde de tingene du gjorde, som du tydelig har sett til at det inspirerer av deg da? Eller av de tingene du har gjort, eller det du har tatt med til Oslo?
I think they definitely took inspiration in possibly the service, presentation, music, because we went out on a limb. We were doing stuff and playing stuff that wasn't, as I say, it was more like the Buddha-esque kind of thing, where you can kind of mix up lots of different types of music and people have a really good time. It's like escapism in music, basically. It's not just funk and soul. But they didn't, they tried. Some of them tried the door policy one. But that's a difficult one. It's a really difficult, because it takes somebody to do it. Yeah. And somebody with enough kahunas to stand there and take the rough with the smooth. I mean, you get 90 kisses a night, but you also get some people who just don't like you, because you have to say no. Yeah. You have to say no. There's no point in having a door if you can't say no. And
det lager jo en egen sånn stemning og egen vibe I døren. Det blir litt sånn, det veldig stas å komme inn, og du får jo et eget rykte til stedet. For du gjorde Cosmo igjen. Ja. I Vika. Ja. Og det tror jeg det rakk jeg akkurat I mine 20 år, I starten av 20-årene, og det var jo veldig nytt for meg at man plukket ut. Exactly. For man var så vant med at man skulle stå I kø. Det jo veldig norsk da. Stå I kø, så det din tur.
That was my anecdote, in fact, was the queue. I remember I had some pretty good doormen, these guys who'd been working Oslo for many years. And they were like, no, the guy's in the queue, he's waiting. I said, yeah, but he's in a shell suit, and he's got a beer in one hand and a sausage in the other, and he's in my queue. He ain't getting in. It's never going to happen. He's approaching the door with completely the wrong attitude. But if he comes back tomorrow, freshens himself up, and he's got a little good thing going on, and it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to get yourself into a club. You just got to show that kind of, I say, a certain respect in a sense, and also a certain understanding of where you're going. And that you're going to actually add something to this environment. I've had the poorest people in the world, and I know I've had some boys on my doors, oh my goodness me. I can't big up them because they'll get insulted. Because they had nothing at the time. And actually, there's one of them who's doing really well in New York now. He's a big photographer.
Cool.
He used to come to my door every night in Paris. Now, oh man, not you again. Yeah, man, yeah, let me in, man. Yeah, come on, man. Let me out. And he was very unique.
Han spilte på følelsene dine.
Yeah, and not just the fact that he felt my feelings, but I'm a great believer in the fruit salad. If you look on my Instagram profile, it says a bowl of bananas is not a fruit salad. Your bowl of bananas is not going to make an exciting evening. You need the apples and the grapes and the pears and the passion fruit and the mango and the papaya to make an exciting fruit salad. That's just what you need. And a club is exactly the same. So I would be doing this and juggling and trying to find that combo that would make an interesting evening and an interesting clientele inside the club that would create the magic. And he was one of those people. As I say, he's now a very famous photographer in New York. But back in the day, he had nothing. And I used to give him a bit of a hard time on the door sometimes. I'm like, oh man, not you again. No, man. No. All right, come on, man. Let you in, man. Yeah, go on. And he'd get in and he'd create a vibe. He was a very unique dude. He was very super creative. And you need those people. It's not just the guy who can buy the bottle of Dom Pérignon that interests me whatsoever. It's in fact the opposite. Because the Dom Pérignon guys, they're flooding to your club. It's the ones that will make that environment interesting that you need. And that's what I look for. That's why I work so hard with The Thief, inviting the people you probably wouldn't expect inside The Thief and making them feel welcome at The Thief. I did a presentation for...
Tenker du på de som jobber der da?
No. I think about guests. But not guests who are necessarily going to bring you massive revenue today. Because I do a lot of work with universities and with students. And I'm actually on schools' curriculums now because I've taken so much time and effort to welcome the students into the property. I do literally a 2-hour presentation about marketing, about brand building, about informal service, about The Thief, about the whole industry. And I anecdote, I quirk, I tangent, I do loads of different stuff. And then I take them on a tour of the property, show them the house. And you can see, I get letters back from teachers on a regular basis saying, you don't know what you've done to these kids. You've actually taken them to another place because, first of all, they felt welcome. And this is the Thief Hotel that they've heard so much about. Oh, it's the most expensive hotel in Norway, which it probably is. And all these famous people stay there and all the business people are there and it's all this and that. But that's our foundation and that's a reality, which is true. But it doesn't mean you're not welcome. And I try and emphasize to this at the end of the presentation, which takes a long time, a lot of effort, and a lot of talking. I say to them, now, what I have here in front of me are 35 ambassadors of The Thief. You are now 35 people who've been to The Thief, you smelt The Thief, you tasted The Thief, and you probably met The Thief. Now, it's up to you. Now, whether you liked it or not, it's entirely up to you. But you now know, instead of hearing the story, oh yeah, my brother's friends, girlfriends, brothers, uncles, cousin went there and yeah, he was a famous guy in the bar. And that's not an opinion of The Thief, that's just hearsay. What's really important for me is these people actually come to The Thief. And so I invite them now, teachers write back to me on a regular basis, can we come back again? And I've had them for 6 years now.
So cute.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I think the most fun actually I have in a sense is actually working with students because they're like sponges. I've had teachers come back to me and say, listen, you don't know, that class you've just taken on board, they were an absolute nightmare and they never listened to me. But they sat there for 2 hours listening to you.
I'm
like, well, I don't know what it is, but...
Men det høres for meg ut som det er noe som går igjen i alle tingene du har sagt til nå, det er jo denne velkomsten.
Yeah, welcome, mate. Welcome.
Hvor viktig det er.
Yeah. I do the 5-point test with the students. And I'd create a scenario around a business person who's coming to Norway. And I give them the 5 points. And point number 2 is when you walk into the property, what should you feel? When you walk inside the doors of the Thief Hotel, what should you feel? And I want one word. And I stand there and I stand back and I'm like, oh, give me that word now. Warm and yeah, oh, I don't know. No, they're sort of mumbling away, and I'm like, what's the one thing you should feel when you walk into your home? What's that one thing you should feel? What's that one word? And you hope that somebody's, it's actually welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. It's the foundation of our industry, welcome. You cannot go wrong if you're welcoming people into your property, first of all, because you've laid the foundation. And you can see, and I do the 5-point test, and there's 5 words and 5 things, and it's very, very simple. And I did a presentation actually for a young forum of African entrepreneurs and business people. And a girl at the end of it, she came to me and said, you make things sound so simple with such clarity. And I'm like, well, it is simple, and there is clarity to this, because you don't have to complicate life when it comes to the essential needs of people. It's not complicated. You can call it whatever you want. You can paint it in whatever color you want, but the basics are very, very simple.
Så en blanding av velkomst og førsteinntrykk også jo sikkert også en av de viktige detaljene når du kommer inn I hotellet eller møter deg eller...
Exactly. That's why I position myself. You'll see when you come to the hotel, I position myself by the door.
Yeah.
That you can't get past me without saying hello, or me saying hello to you. And that's another thing we have. This steals you away from everyday life. It's it's probably my favorite expression where the hotel's concerned.
Hvordan kommer du opp med det? Ikke si som konsulent med seminar og post-its bak på veggen.
No. Well, I can't give credit where credit isn't due, so I prefer not to say. But I have to big up one more person on the Big Up show. It's a girl called Siri Learning.
Siren?
Siri.
Siri.
Siri Learning.
Learning.
This girl, I mean, we're the closest thing to a married couple who aren't married, because we have a genuine love for the industry, and we have a work rate that's second to none, and we have a deep understanding of each other. And Siri was the person, she was Petter's right hand on the Thief project.
Petter Stordalen.
Petter Stordalen, exactly. Who I should big up as well. Big up Petter, because you the man, trust me, you the man.
Han ikke din sjef, men han
I didn't say that I didn't say that because he's my boss. I say it because I mean it. I could do a whole program on Petter Stordalen. I mean,
det tror jeg på.
Oh my goodness.
Vi får ta en egen podman her en gang, tenker jeg.
What a dude.
Ja.
That man, he's got it going on. He
Snakker
really
du
has.
ofte?
Yeah, well, not as much as I'd like to, because we have a good time every time we have a chat, and he's, the man's just mad busy. But when we do, we kind of look in each other's eyes, and I say what I've got to say, and he says what he's got to say, and then we kind of leave it there. But there's one thing I will say about him is the level of emotion he can create around something that belongs to him, which is his company, is phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. He is a public speaker of excellence when he just lets his heart out, and he will. He'll stand on the stage and cry. I've seen him, I can say this because I know it's true, and I was there. He talked about his sister back in the day, and his sister's gay. And he flew in all his leaders and management, and he brought us into an arena, and he always opens this seminar. It's a thing called Veko. It's his thank you to all his people every year for what they've done, and it's a great gathering, and there's a black tie dinner and a party and seminars and keynote speakers. This is legend in the industry. This is a very special moment to be invited to Veko. And he opens Veko every year. And he was up on stage talking about how his sister struggled and then was brave enough to come out and tell people exactly who she was and what she represented and how she felt about herself and being gay, you know. And he said back then it wasn't trendy. It wasn't no fashionable thing to be gay.
Right.
And she was brave enough to do so. And I remember he was in tears on stage. It was one of the most emotional things I've ever seen. Because he's genuine and he's honest, and he can take you to places with him. And you can feel his pain, you can feel his joy, you can feel his sorrow, you can feel the emotions that he has. And I equate that very much through work that we're doing and work that where we find ourselves in this industry. And I always equate it to vulnerability. I think being vulnerable is a fantastic thing. Because we can all build this wall around ourselves and call ourselves this and call ourselves that and give ourselves fancy titles. Oh, I'm the GM, I'm the CEO, I'm the this, I'm the that. But at the end of the day, the vulnerability means that you're open. And you're open for a kiss and you're open for a slap. You can take both. And if you're willing to take the kiss, you should also be willing to take the slap. So the vulnerability of our industry, I think, is an absolute charm to work with because you're being very, very honest and people can feel it. So the example would be if somebody came to me and said, oh, Dominic, I just stayed in your five-star hotel, or I've just arrived at this five-star property. And I'm like, well, it's very nice you to say that we're a five-star property, but I'll shake your hand now. And on the way out, shake my hand and tell me how many stars you'd like to give me. Because I don't own 5 stars. I don't have 5 stars on my lapel, not like 5 stars on the back of my shirt calling me the five-star Dominic. I'm not. I'm only as good as the guy checking in now. So my vulnerability will be to say to you, it's up to you. This is exactly your call. Because I try and avoid using those terms that put me in a position of, not just a position of strength, but a position of full fake strength. Because there could be a guy checking in now who's having a horror at the Thief Hotel. What does that make me? Does that make me a 5-star hotel? Not in the slightest. So I am vulnerable every single day. I wake up every morning vulnerable, but I love that vulnerability because it makes me strong, and it makes me want to go to work, it makes me want to deliver.
Og du føler deg litt levende nå, sikkert.
Oh, I'm alive.
Like
Petter. I mean, it's the same thing. The man, he puts himself in a position of vulnerability. Oh, he lives.
Men det som for utsiden av, for de som ikke jobber med han, men som mer ser han på sånn, skal vi si, med mainstream-pressen og sånt da. Også for min egen del, jeg tenker jo det er en mann som gir fullstendig faen. Altså, spesielt i opinions, i oppslag, hva folk måtte mene, synes, han gir fullstendig faen. Han har en sånn regnjakke. Utarbeidet regnjakke hvor det bare preller av, men han er samtidig sårbar da. Det er noe menneskelig herlig med han også, så det er jo noen av de her, derfor folk liker han så godt også, tror jeg.
Yeah, I think you say he doesn't give an F. I think you're right to a certain extent.
Ja. I think,
no, I think I do understand. I do agree with you. But I also think that he has a deep understanding of where he comes from. And a deep understanding of what it's like not to have very much. And I think when he sees people who don't have very much, who strive, number one, strive hard to achieve, and then achieve, he has a lot of respect for. He's like, because I know where you come from. And I think, as you say, not to give a damn.
Jeg tipper kanskje litt mer med verden som står utenfor da, for den kan være ganske brutal og kjip å ta deg når du liksom virkelig ligger nede.
He's the first one to tell you, he got screwed by a few people, you know, and he's probably had a few issues with people in his business career, and that's just, when you get to the top of your game, you know, it's inevitable that there's been a few.
Det er natur.
Yeah. But I've seen him do some things, I've seen him just interact with people at a level that he belongs to them and they belong to him. And you see 3,500, 4,000 people they just stand and applaud because he gives it everything. He will give it everything, and he will, as I say, that vulnerability is something I really appreciate in people, because you see a lot of these people up on stage and it's all this, that, it's all me, and then I take a bow and they go. They don't leave anything behind, but he leaves his soul on the stage, and that's for me that's a massive quality.
Er han like intens, eller? Når dere snakker sammen sånn på to?
Oh, yeah.
Ja, det er ikke noe sånn...
No.
Okay.
No, he's on it.
Tenk deg han som midtbanespiller da. Han måtte jo vært helt sint her I et annet liv.
He'd be like that Vidal, you know that guy with a mohawk who played for Barcelona? He was that kind of player. Tattoo, sweat, give it everything, mate. You don't.
Kjefter alle på en positiv
exactly.
måte.
He might not be the best player on the pitch, but damn, he'll let you know he's there. He will let you know.
Sånn positiv Roy Keane.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Exotic Roy Keane, let's say, yeah.
Men for nå, jeg leste jo litt en artikkel før tidligere I dag, at nå har TIF det har brukt 6 år på å komme I pluss, altså nå har det endelig begynt å tjene penger på hotellet. Men har Petter vært lik sånn, er han enda litt mer fornøyd nå som liksom ting har snudd litt rundt, at ting, at penger renner inn, altså skjønner du, altså det en forskjell fra de første årene til nå da, hvor dere sannsynligvis har satt systemet, ting fungerer, dere har lært mye, dere vet hvor dere på vei igjen?
I think first of all, when the thief, when he came with the idea of the thief or wanted to do the thief, it was because he has many properties already across Scandinavia, but to be possibly recognized as a great hotelier, you know, one of the greats in the industry. He has 197 properties at present. You need those flagship properties that really stand out. There's one thing is having volume, you know. The other thing is having that little extra.
Yep.
And I think the thief was his shout out to the world. That, I'm good at what I do, but now you're going to see something a little bit special. And he pulled every rabbit out of every hat to make this happen. I mean, he's worked with some of the best people in the industry. The hotel it's a stunning property in a stunning location. We have the whole art profile with as patrons of the Astroferne Museum. He is a patron, so we have the artwork on the property. We have beautiful rooms. It is a beautiful property, and it was truly recognized as one of the great properties. In fact, we were nominated, or we were voted as the best hotel in Northern Europe in Continence Travel.
Det du som tar imot disse folkene her? Sånn Michelin-folk og de sånn?
Yeah. That's my job, basically. I'm on meet and greet. When these guys arrive, it's me they're going to meet first. And that's where Siri comes into the game. The Siri Learning, who she reaches out to these people, and it's one thing is saying I've got the best chocolate cake in the world. The other is actually having the best chocolate cake in the world, because people will turn up and say, oh yeah, where's your chocolate cake? So there it is, have a taste, and you're like, damn, that's the best chocolate cake I've ever tasted. And that's what that was our goal. You can't go out to these people, you know, and invite them from around the planet saying, listen, we've got one of the finest hotels in Scandinavia. They're like, okay, great, I'm coming, let's see what you got. And when they come, they're like, damn, this is special. And that's what we created. Ja,
de går ikke rundt og bare noterer og er helt stille. De uttrykker sin begeistring.
No, they're on a different level. We as I say, this whole informal thing is probably where I have to kind of land this in senses. So when you're dealing with informality, you're taking people, you're dealing with people on a different level, and you can take them and say, listen, let's just have a breakfast and just chat about this place. And that's exactly what you do. And you share food. I love sharing food with people. I do a lot of breakfast meetings. I think it's a great leveler. People love breakfast. You sit down and have a breakfast and you start chatting away. And I could be talking fishing, football, music, fashion. Exactly. With them. Because you don't. I mean, it's amazing the level you can sort of interact with people on before you even started talking about business. And I can't even start. There's no point, because there's been so many links and so many friends in common and so many things we've done and so many things we've experienced, at the same place that maybe at different. Anyway, so Siri, as I get back to Siri, because I have to end this kind of where she started it, is in fact she will go out and contact these people, and she has a fantastic network, and she will let these people know there's something special happening in Norway, and there's a place called The Thief. And they're like, it could be somebody at Vogue, could be somebody at CNN, BBC, doesn't matter who it is. I mean, and they click. There's something clicking about Norway, and it's been great for us. But anyway, so they come, and I meet them, and we have this whole informal thing going on, and one leads to two and two leads to three, and we have a breakfast and blah blah blah, and they stay at the property. They absolutely love it. I know they're going to love the property. It's just giving them that extra kind of little something that just kind of puts the cake. Yeah, but I'm there. Things I live on the property almost, so I'm generally there at all times. So whenever they're coming in from dinner, did you have a nice dinner? Yeah, where did you? Oh, did you meet someone? Yeah, I did. What are you doing tomorrow? Let's have breakfast. There's this whole. You just interact with people, but it does take a lot of time, and you have to generally, as I say, I live on the property practically, so that's another, how would I put it? It's not
at du får folk på besøk, det nesten sånn at det sånn det føles at du veldig stolt av å kunne liksom invitere nesten hjem til ditt andre hjem?
Yeah, kind of. But I believe to do what we've done at The Thief and with the amazing people that I work with, you have to dedicate your mind, body, and soul. You just have to do it. There's no other way to put a property on the map that we've done with the Thief. Because in all honesty, we were up against the great properties, the Grand Hotel, the Continental, the Bristol. And those guys have been there for a long time.
Yes. Og det konkurrentene deres
big
I markedet.
Ja. Big time. But a competition, as you know, as a footballer, is the best part. It's the competition. I'm highly competitive. You give me a race, I'll join it. So they're great properties, but they've had hundreds of years to establish themselves and their brands, and they have the location, they have Ibsen and Munch and all these, quintessentially Norwegian things. We've been there for 6 years.
Excellent.
And we've absolutely moved mountains. So it takes a dedicated team, and it takes a team of people who really know what they're doing to achieve that goal. But it also takes, as I say, the word dedication is probably, the foundation is I have children, I have a wife, I have a house, I have... I have another life. But they understand what I do. They truly understand what I do. And my colleagues at work, there's a few who are Andrea and Jens and Jarle, and people who've really given their mind, bodies and souls to this property to make this a great, great property. You need those people. You truly need those people. Otherwise, it just won't work.
Jeg har sett en veldig bra video av en sånn foredragsholder, og en som veldig populær på YouTube sist tid, heter Simon Sinek. Har du hørt om han? Han snakker jo om spesielt veldig mye av det du opptatt av. Og har jo forklarer en ting. Han mener jo det at kunden ikke kommer først. Han har sin egen videosnutt med det der, som litt sånn interessant å høre på. Så interessant å høre om du enig eller ikke her da. Men han sier at det vanlige at man ser på, med businesset ser på at kunden det viktigste. Kunden har alltid rett da.
Ja, that's not true.
Nei, det jo det også han sier, at først må du ta vare på dine egne folk, og sørge for at de har det bra, og så hvis dine egne folk har det bra, så kommer de til å ta vare på kundene dine. Det liksom essensen av det han mener da.
It is true. It is true. There's a balance somewhere along that line as well. But what we do take extreme care of is that we have a school. I'm actually the teacher at the school. It's called Thief School, and anybody who works at the Thief has to go through the school. And I give probably a 3 to 4 hour presentation of the property, and I interact with that person, and we truly try and install the sense of being a thief in that individual, regardless if it's from dishwash or from, new food and beverage manager, in fact, who I'm meeting Thursday.
Identitet nesten, altså.
Totally. Culture. Identity and culture. And that culture is infective, and you realize that when people understand the level they're working at and the expectations, then it just takes them, it's like playing in the Premier League almost, du
vet hva du skal gjøre.
You know what's expected of you. You don't join Man U without thinking, damn, this is Old Trafford, and there's Alex Ferguson sitting in the stands, and I've got this red shirt on, I'm running out on that pitch, I've got to deliver. I mean, that's just the name of the game. If you don't want to play for Man U, then go and play somewhere else, But when you decide to put that shirt on, when you decide to put the tee that we wear, which we're very, very proud of, that's an obligation. And also, you're mine. As far as I'm concerned, you're a thief. And you are a thief 24/7. And another thing we could do a whole thing about is brand representation.
Jeg vet du veldig opptatt,
I am a brand representative, and I believe that my colleagues and the guys who've really been successful at the Thief, they're brand representatives. They'll be known as thieves. And it also stands you in very good stead in future life, because when you've actually left the Thief and you're out on the market looking for a new job, that name starts ringing bells. And people are like, damn, let's get that person in, because then they can hopefully tell us how it was done. How did the Thief manage to achieve what they've achieved in such a short space of time?
Så det gjelder å få de ansatte til å tenke noe mer på bare paychecken. Du tenker at det et større en større ære og et større ansvar, og det
You'd like to think so. There are, of course, we don't live in an ideal world, and people, have different priorities.
Men det I hvert fall og det å være en tyv hos på The Thief og jobbe der må jo ha en helt annen verdi og en helt annen følelse enn å jobbe på et, skal vi si, vanlig hotell da.
Yes, I would definitely think so. Yeah.
Så tiltrekker seg sannsynligvis mer passionate folk.
Yeah, but you try. It's not easy. The market isn't easy because there's not an abundance of people who, because this is an industry where you, as I say before, I spend a third of the year I sleep at the hotel. So
wow.
At least 120
Har du et eget rom da?
Yeah, I got my own room. Yeah.
Hvordan ser du ut der inne?
Looks like any other room.
Gjør det det?
Yeah.
Har du ikke gjort noen ting med det?
No. I spend so little time in that room. There's no point in even personalizing it. No. It's just a room.
Høyt oppe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm in the middle of the artists.
Okay.
Not to give too much away, but I generally position myself where the artists will be. So I'm surrounded by the artists, basically.
Så når du kommer i sånt svært entourage med Rihanna, så du...
I'm in the middle.
Ja, ikke sant? Så
exactly.
Men booker de sånn
yes.
hele etasjer? Flere etasjer?
It can happen.
Hvordan funker det der? Fra første henvendelse til... Snakker du da med sånn turmanager, og så... Eller konkurrerer du med andre hotellene for å lande dealen? Altså,
they generally have agents who book their tour. First of all, and the agent will generally decide where they're going to stay. If the tour manager had a particularly good experience at a hotel, he will then tell the agent, this is where we want to stay. And that's what happens with us. We get guests come back, basically. Once that's been established and we know when they're coming and how many rooms, and then we can set it up and deal with generally the PA, because the PA will know...
About PA?
Personal assistant.
Okay.
The PA will generally know what the artist likes, doesn't like, and all the idiosyncrasies that go with it. So once that's been established, then it's... The thing is, once you've created that sense of, one, understanding, because they know I understand, and two, delivery, then you're good to go. Basically. But once, of course, we're in the house, things can happen, things can change. But that's why I live on the property. Simply because you're there 24/7. And I could go home. I live, up by Holmenkollen way. So I could go home, but then I'd just disturb my family because they'd call me from the hotel. I've got to come back again. I've got to go home again and come back. It's just a yo-yo of... Instead of actually booking out from home for 5 days, I go and live in the hotel for 5 days and they know in 5 days' time I'm home.
Du en slags rektor og syvende far I huset.
The one thing I will say that makes life very easy is a very understanding girlfriend.
Det tror jeg på.
Yeah. Without her, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Big up, Lena. Thank you very much.
Big up.
Big up, big up. And
setter hun øverst på big up-listen, gjør ikke det?
She should be at the top. I should have started with her. And yeah, there's the understanding that what I do, and how I function. And she allows me to do that. And without her, I wouldn't be able to do it. There would always be something that would be trying to drag me away from what I do instead of her taking care of all of that, saying just do what you do. So I try and make up for it when I come home. And, I love, to be part of home and do the homely thing. But in all honesty, I've been doing this all my life. I've always, and probably my children, when they get to the age where they can express this, they will say, yeah, Dad, you worked.
Ja, her var du.
Yeah.
Dette lagde du.
And I'll have to live with that.
Ja.
And I do live with it. I did a presentation the other day, and my example was, my role model was my father, and he was a very hard-working man. He woke up in the morning, he went to work, he came home, and we had au pairs at the time, and I remember trying to run past the au pair to say goodnight to my dad, like at 8 o'clock in the evening when I should have been in bed. And that was a very important time for me to see my father, but that was probably the only time I did see him, apart from the weekends. And on holidays. We always went on some really long-ass holiday, always travelled the world with him, and that was always a pleasure. But my example was a man who worked very, very hard, and I just took that as being the norm. And I've always been that hard-working man. If there's anything I can thank him for, anything, if he's looking down on me now, I know he'll have his hand on his heart and say, I did good. That boy, he works hard.
Hvor lenge tror du kommer til å holde koken? Tror du kommer til å holde dette tempoet her og jobbe med det her?
I've got a new project in the pipeline as we speak. So
på et sideprosjekt, eller?
No. Well, I can't talk about that. No, yeah.
Det problemet ut.
No, yeah, they could be a little.
Med litt alkohol nå, så hadde det funket helt opp. Faen, altså. Men du hadde ikke drevet med hotell før du begynte med Thief, egentlig?
This is my first hotel.
Ikke sant? Så noe helt annet nå, eller?
No, another hotel.
Fotballklubb?
I wish.
Chelsea?
No, he's for sale, but I ain't got the money. I haven't got that kind of money, that's for sure.
Du har ikke møtt Abramovic?
No, never.
Synd.
No.
Nå har han flyktet til Israel, har han ikke?
I've heard, yeah.
Han har ikke vært der siden
They won't let him back in England. Or they will let him back, but he's got this lack of, residency and there's all this stupidness. Anyway, I can't, that's just politics, I don't want to get involved.
Right.
But it's not had a good effect on the team, I don't think. Not the greatest effect. But we're still, last night, respect, got a little 1-1. Got a little 1-1, and hopefully in Stamford Bridge we can bury them and go to the final and meet Arsenal. Who might beat Valencia in Spain, or they, I don't know, that's another one I can't get involved in now.
Chelsea har blitt Liverpool nå, vi kjemper I Europaligaen og ja, det vondt.
Ja.
Men tilbake til, jeg synes det var interessant det der med artister på det. Jeg skjønner, du kan ikke snakke om spesifikke artister som har vært på besøk hos dere og sånt.
No.
Jeg kom på en jævlig bra historie, Per Osmundsvåg.
Oh.
Han fortalte meg om, kanskje ikke jeg skal
big
si det.
Big up Per, actually. It's a big up show. Big up Per.
Jeg har invitert han hit, da.
Has he been here?
Nei, jeg har invitert han.
Really?
Han sa jeg må ha noen øl før jeg kan gå på.
Top boy.
Ja.
Top boy. Per, respect to you, man.
Han
a good
faen meg råfyr, altså.
I like Per.
Kanskje ikke jeg skal si det. Jeg kan vel si det hvis han har sagt til meg, jeg tror ikke det. Han har en jævlig bra historie på Prince. Rest in peace.
Okay.
For det lurer jeg på, for jeg hørte noe sånt at de drev og bygde om Grand Hotel. De modifiserte Grand Hotel til å passe Prince sine behov. Så vi hørte en story på det at de hadde 2 rom, de bygde om 2 toppsvitter eller noe.
Ja.
Så hvis den ene ikke funket, så hadde de den, og de byttet fliser og full pakke. Stemmer det?
Ja.
Har du hørt noe sånt?
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. In the mix.
Her professional
in the mix story.
Lojalitet.
Yeah, no, there are stories. I've got a few, but what I would say, generally, they are very, very nice people. I've met them all, from Obama to Jay-Z to Rihanna, and those are the ones I can talk about because they've been in the press and they've obviously been saying that the Thief. I mean, it's there.
Ja, ikke sant. Har du middager med de?
Yeah. I had dinner with Jay-Z. Had dinner with Damien Hirst not so long ago. Yeah, nice people. But just to come back to them in a sense is that a lot of people have a lot of opinion where these people are concerned. And if you take one guy, for example, just say Jay-Z, for example. That dude has a world tour of 50 dates, let's say. Every date there's 50,000 people. He's doing the big stadium tour of America, let's say. Now, my job when he comes to my hotel and in my environment is to make sure that he can deliver. Now, if he says to me, Dominic, I don't give a damn about anybody else. I want to sleep all day and I want chicken and rice and this and that and get it sent to my room and I want it this way and that way and not that way, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because the repercussions of that guy not being able to do what he should be doing, which is on stage performing, could be that disappointed 50,000 people, and that starts with the people. Then you're talking about transport, then you're talking about hotels, then you're talking about the guys who sell popcorn, then you guys who sell the sausage, and the guys who sell the beer. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people and money linked to this guy's performance. So my job is to make sure that he can perform. And I don't care what anybody says. Oh, yeah, he's so special. He just wants chicken with that and not on the bone, and he wants rice. You're damn right that's what he wants, and that's exactly what he's going to get. And you got to deliver it. That's your job. It's not that he's being precocious or being unfriendly or being rude about something. He's just being very specific. And I love that. For me, it makes my life really easy to say, what do you want? Because the trouble is that the issues generally come when it's the people around the artist who start pulling strings and saying how things should be. In fact, when the best thing to do is to go to source, go to the artist.
Men har du alltid muligheten til det da? Er det ikke ofte sånn at du starter med at du forholder deg til en annen person til å begynne med?
Yeah, true. You do. But if they trust you, you can get very close.
Yeah.
If not as close as you
People
need to be. Yeah, you can get there. If they trust you.
Yeah.
But then you're very much part of the entourage, you're very much part of the operation, and you're very much part of making sure delivery is as it should be. But if you know them, then you get in very, very quickly. If they don't know you, they've generally been told about you, because all these tour managers talk, and they're like, listen, when you get to Oslo, talk to Dominic. And that's the only person. Once again, I'm in the hotel, I'm there 24/7, they have one point of reference, that's me. And it's 24/7. Anything they need, any time of the day or night, call Dominic.
Det høres ikke ut som Prince-artistene ville gått til Dominic Gorham på Grand Hotel og sagt jeg vil ha bygd om flisene på badet. Det høres ut som en i apparatet som...
You know, I think those days of...
Modificering.
Yeah, the days of madness, because you've heard of artists wanted room to be changed color, and they won't come until the room's right, white or pink. Or there's other points of focus now, because they're not selling records, they're touring, and touring is probably the most lucrative part of their industry now. So they have to deliver, and they generally have to behave. They're not throwing your TV out the window anymore. Those days of that rock and roll era seem to have gone. They're business people. They realize that they could be the longevity of their careers is maybe not as it was before. And ultimately delivery. If you're touring, you've got 50 dates, you've got to deliver 50 times in 50 different places, and that's a job.
Men har du en slags sånn template overfor deg selv, sånn som du opererer etter? Sånn som jeg møter de her, tar dennes praten her, og så inviterer jeg dem på lunsj, og så snakker jeg på artisten der, og så viser jeg dem rommet. Det ikke noe, du har ikke noe en rutine sånn sett? Eller?
There is a certain routine. There's a foundation in that you need to know when things are going to happen. You need to know when flights are arriving. You need to know who's on pickup. You need to know who's on reception. Those things you need to have very, very good control over, because then you can control movement. And once you know that where they're going to be at any particular time, it makes life so much easier. But there's no template for this. Once again, if it was a template, I probably wouldn't have to do the 24/7, but the 24/7 it's an organic thing. And you never quite know. Never quite know what curveball they're going to throw at you, you know.
Når det sånne super høystatusgjester, da, må dere sperre, for sånn det med sikkerhet da? Må dere sperre deler av hotellet, eller sånn, Obama har vært der også.
Fantastic guy. What a guy. That was probably one of my highest points ever.
Fikk dere mye tid sammen?
Yeah. We had a chat. Yeah, we talked golf. And we talked golf, because I'm a bit of a golfer, bit of an amateur golfer. I emphasize on the word amateur.
Fisking and golfing.
I love. It's my father-in-law actually who plays. So we spend time. Our bonding time is on a golf course, and it's very enjoyable. And I caddied as a kid. My home is close to a place called Coombe Hill, which is one of the richest courses in England. It's a beautiful course, and to make money, we used to go and caddy. And carry a bag around 18 holes, and I used to get £55, 50 krona for 18 holes, and you could do 2 rounds a day if you started early, and you go home with £10, and this is 40 years ago, which was a lot of money for us then. But I remember Coombe Hill, mate, what a place. And the caddy master, we had a caddy master. Can I tell the story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The caddy master, he was a guy from the north of Norway. No, sorry, the north of England. And the caddy, it was that real kind of prestigious golf club. And if you could imagine, there was like this sort of pit where all the caddies stood, and there was a stairway going up to the golf course. And it was like the caddy master stood at the top of the stairway and looked down and chose the caddy who he'd be appropriate for the golfer who just presented himself at the first tee. And I remember my first round ever, and every caddy had been chosen. There was nothing left. There was only me standing there. I promise you it's true. And the caddy master was looking under every rock to see if there was any other human being apart from this guy who was standing down there. And I don't mean to sound funny, but it was a black thing. I was the only black boy there. And I'm sure they'd never had a black caddy there. No. Never. And I've often found myself in that position of being the first black person. I was the first black member of Hazelmere Fishing Club. Wow. Ever. I was 15 back then. It was a proper carp fishing club.
Dette her 70-tallet?
Yeah. Anyway. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just the thing. It's just life, you know.
Hva tenkte du?
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it. When you're raised with white parents, you start life strange. You tenker
aldri over det?
Nah, you do, because people are always remarking that when you're walking down the road with your sister, for example, who's white, they say, Dom, who's your new girlfriend? I'm like, no, that's my sister. Yeah, it's your sister, yeah. I'm serious. We got stopped at customs. Wow. My parents got stopped with me. And the worst ones is the hotels. When I was young, you know, being a young boy, you know, 15, 16, and staying with my father, who was a rather large business person and, you know, obviously didn't look anything like my father, or who they expect to be my father, I'd get stopped by hotel security saying, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? Oh, I'm living... well, do you live in the hotel? Yeah, I do. I live... that's my father. Yeah. And it was kind of like the rent boy, you know, the little, you know,
Selvfølgelig forklaring.
Yeah, you had to explain very often. The worst one was not it was my sister. I have a sister who was adopted as well. She's the same, she's mixed race. She's half Nigerian, half English. She's beautiful. She's really stunning. And every time she went for dinner with my father, it was the same thing. This beautiful mixed race girl sitting at a table with this white business guy. And the waiter was like, yo, like, go on, son. Yeah, nice one, mate. Oh, pretty girl. Yeah. And that's our father. You know? I mean, we got it all. Anyway, so we got used to this. It's just, we accepted it to a certain extent. But the caddy master looked down, looked in the pit, couldn't find anybody under any rock apart from me. And he was like, and I remember his words. He's like, oi, darky, come here. Darky. I was darky. And in the northern, oi, darky, come here. So why? And I was kind of, I'm like, are you talking to me? So I climbed up the steps and I walked onto this course, and Coombe Hill is a stunning course. It's a beautiful course. And as I say, it's one of the richest courses in England. Not that the golfers are the greatest golfers in the world. They're just very, very rich. And you carry the bag. There's no trolley, there's no car. You carry this bag around. And I remember climbing to the top of the stairs, and there was a lady standing there. And he literally said to her, listen, this is all I've got. This is it. And she looked at me and she's like, all right, no problem. And she goes, pick up the bag. And I sort of picked up the bag kind of half wrong. And she's like, yeah. She says, listen, just come here. She goes, have you done this before? And I'm like, well, sort of. She's like, listen, I've got a competition here. She was actually the Women's Open golf champion.
Wow.
And she was training at Coombe Hill for a competition. She was training for this weekend for a competition the following weekend. She goes, listen, I can see you're not very good at this, but just bear with me, and I'll bear with you, and I'll try and teach you how to do this. And in fact, she taught me over 18 holes how to caddy.
Wow.
So that was an incredible experience. And
Høres ut som et filmmanuskript.
The caddy, yeah. It would be. And I ended up, being not the last guy to be chosen after a few weeks, and then after a few months, I was known as a decent caddy. Yeah. And I learnt to play golf by watching golfers. So I just picked up a club and a ball and just started swinging. And I had actually another big up, Darren Webster Clark. Darren, he is a golf pro at the golf club I'm a member at now. And he rectified my stance and my hand position last week and put me on a simulator to test my swing. And he was like, damn, you got, you know. And he's like, I don't want to take too much of your funky swing out because you got your own little way going on there. So I can't really rectify, but I can do this and this and this and rectify these moments. And then he took me to the golf range. I was smacking this ball on a 7-iron that was going like 120, 130 on a regular and straight.
Nice.
I was like, damn, this is good. So my last golfing experience was wonderful. So I've applied for my green card, and I will, if I have the time, I don't have that much time to play golf because it is a pretty time-consuming
Så du har et visst nivå du på golfen, det er ikke bare rekreasjon, det er...
When I turn up on a course, I'm there to win. I don't care who you are. I'm there to win. And I'm serious. I don't care who you are. I'm there to win. And one time during the 18 holes, I will hit a shot better than you. If it's just once I don't care.
Nei, og det du sa
That's
til
what I'm
Obama,
there for.
var det ikke det?
Oh. Well, he was actually very curious about the history of Schuhholmen and why we were called the thief. And this is another great part of our storytelling, is that we have a name and a profile and a brand that demands a story. You can't get by calling a hotel the thief without having the story behind it. And that, of course, people are very curious about. So it gives us that chance to kind of interact with people and explain why we're called the thief and the way the name's written and the whole profile and culture around the thief and how we do things. And he was fascinated. He absolutely loved it. And we managed to get him out, of course, because he spends a lot of time in, and the freedom of being out is obviously limited for him. And we managed to take him out on a beautiful walk in the sunset on the fjord. And I can't go into too much detail about it, but what I will tell you is that we were spotted by 3 people. The first was a family who lived in the area who filmed us and sent the footage to NRK immediately, as soon as because they couldn't find him. The footage was sent straight to press. The second was a jogger. And it was really funny because as you're walking towards people, you know how people function, and the setup was
what the
exactly.
Yeah.
And as he was jogging, he could see as he was running towards us, he was like, "Oh my god!" But as a jogger, you can't stop jogging because as soon as you do, security they're going to start asking you questions, so you have to keep jogging.
Yeah.
And the second one, in fact, the second one was the jogger, and the third one was another jogger, and the same thing happened.
Så jogge sidelengs.
He almost fell in the fjord. He was jogging and trying to keep his head, trying to keep an eye on what was going on. But that was very nice because it gave him the chance to relax. He had a very nice cup of coffee and just walked around and in his casual gear, and we had a casual conversation. And you could see he really, really relaxed. And then I can say this bit because it was such a nice walk that we couldn't go anywhere else because that's where the people were. There were a lot of people waiting to see him, and we couldn't go that way. So he said to me, "Can we go somewhere and continue this walk?" And I'm like, "Well, we can't really, but we can do that walk again." And he was like, "Let's do it again."
Samme ruta.
Yeah, we did exactly the same thing, the same route.
Nydelig.
It was beautiful.
Ja.
That was
Og bare dere to? Og selvfølgelig også med teamet, men altså...
I can't even go down that road. No. It wasn't just us two, that's for sure. No, they were...
Nei, altså, men i samtalen, det var bare dere to som...
Yes. I was called by his PA to try and just give him just have a chat about where we were and what we were doing and how we were doing it. And,
Jeg kan gjette at du kom inn på han sånn. Jeg tipper du brukte sånn 10 sekunder, så var det så rett i samtalen. Jeg helt sikker på.
Yeah, we started chatting.
Du har den skillen der.
He's a super nice guy. What a nice guy. And the more you meet these people, the more you realize that there's something very unique about every single one. And they say, yeah, him, what about him? It's like, no, I've met him and he's truly very, very unique.
Tenk deg at mye han har på samvittigheten og i hodet, og planer og plikter og ansvar, og så greier han faktisk mer eller mindre å koble ut med deg og fokusere på den samtalen din.
For sure.
Med en...
But I think he has that skill, and also I think it was a pleasure for him to actually click off and be able to click into something completely different. Because, I mean, the sun was setting, the fjord was beautiful.
Det var som en fisketur.
Yeah, I should have taken him on one actually.
Ja, det burde du gjort. På Fornebu her, det har vært nydelig.
But it was a beautiful evening, and the setting was right. Very often you find this in Norway. I'm absolutely privileged in a sense to be working in such an incredible environment because, our hotel could be on Oxford Street, for example. You step out of a hotel onto Oxford Street, I mean, it's like night and day. You do not have the luxury or the freedom or the space or the clean or the fresh or the crisp or the tranquille. There's nothing about Oxford Street that would represent a relaxing environment. And it has a direct effect and impact on the property. So us being located on an island, which we are, has a direct impact on the way people actually function inside the property and the way people sort of interact, and it's an absolute joy. It really is. It's a privilege to be surrounded or be given such a great tool to work with, such a brilliant property to front.
Tror du kommer til å forlate det en dag?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
En dag, sånn, du må det, eller at du rett og slett, er du sånn, det høres jo ut sånn, du skal ta livet ditt i betraktning da, så er du jo rastløs da. Sånn prosjekter.
I'm highly competitive and I love a challenge and I get really good. The bigger the challenge, the better I get. And I know Petter and his team, they know that.
Petter har noe til deg nå, det hører jeg.
He knows. We had this conversation some time ago, and there is a new property that that's in the pipeline. It's not a secret. It's been in the press, and it's a place called Somerø House, and it's in Somerø Gata, and it's in Soliplas. And it's a beautiful building from the 1920s, and he's brought in two outstanding interior designers. One from Brooklyn and one from London, who are world-renowned. He's gone all in on this property.
Hvor på Solplass, på den lille på høyden på andre siden av kaféene da, eller vi...
No, if you know where Vestkant Bad is.
På Solplass?
Yeah.
Nei, jeg vet hva.
Okay, if you're standing, do you know...
Er det bad på Solplass?
Yeah, if you're standing, you know the two tram lines that go across Solplass?
Ja.
If you look on the other side, it's the old NAV building.
Okay.
There's a beautiful building from the 1920s. He's bought the whole front, basically.
Okay.
And they're in the process of creating. Actually, Siri, who I spoke about earlier, she's head of this project, and they're building a hotel that's going to absolutely blow the city.
Wow.
It's an incredible project. I'm very honored, in fact, to be part of it. And Jarla, who was the ex-director from The Thief, will be the director of this new hotel, so I'll be working very closely with him, and he's a very close colleague and a very good friend and a very exceptional individual. He's the best in the business, basically. So we will bring in, this is going to be a crack team of some of the very, very finest.
Skal det opp på samme nivå som Thief og Continental og Grand? Er det oppi der?
It's hard to say because I couldn't do it unless I believed it would be better, and which is a very hard thing to say because The Thief, as far as I'm concerned, is the best hotel in this country. But I truly believe if I'm going to do this to the best of my ability, this will be better than what I've done before. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I can't function saying, "Oh no, I can't give my everything because it won't be. I can't make it better than that." No, I can, and I will. So it's an incredible project. It's what I'm really happy about is to give people an option in the city. They have places to go. They have a choice between properties, great properties, and it's also enhancing the city. It's bringing the city to another level where people are flying in from London, New York, and Paris. They are experiencing wonderful hotel experiences as good as they would find anywhere else in the world. It's not because you come to Norway, it's going to be a little bit Norwegian. So no, that doesn't wash anymore. You cannot do that. You cannot think that way. You have to think that this will be the greatest hotel experience that they can experience anywhere.
Er det rett inn i sånn, er det superhøy luksus? Er det liksom noe av det første ting jeg tenker på? For det, og det å tenke på med suksessen til The Thief og de øverste range-hotellene, er det litt sånn høykonjunkturavhengig at de hotellene går bra, eller er det rett og slett så stort tilsig av internasjonale gjester at det er et marked for å ha så mange 5-stjerners hoteller i byen?
Well, you just use the two terms that I try and avoid using. One is luxury and two is 5-star.
Jeg vet det.
I believe that there is definitely a market for it. We've proved it with The Thief, and we will prove it again with the new hotels and new projects. There's America Linea just opened up. The Hub is now 800 rooms. I mean, there are properties coming into the city and properties that are of a standard and of a quality that would easily be on a par with some of the great hotels in London, Paris, New York, or wherever else you want to talk about, because you have to be at that level now. You cannot be. There's no excuse. In fact, we're charging top dollar for our rooms. I mean, if you walk into the hotel and you're paying anywhere from 3,000 to 30,000 a night for a room.
Tenkte at jeg kom til nivå I Oslo da.
You got to deliver.
Ikke så lenge siden det bare var Grand og Continental.
Exactly. Yeah, they were the monopoly basically on the market. They had the two spots.
Har det sånn, jeg føler alltid før så var de største sånn A-stjernen eller viktigste personen var på Grand, men det praktisk kanskje bedre å sette for sikkerhet og logistikk ut på SIF? Har det noen fordeler der ute? Så på Q-Roman?
That could be an issue for them, yes. There could be. But then they've dealt with, they do the Nobel Peace, so they can deal with the best in the business. They don't have an issue with that. What I would say, they're not on an island. They're not surrounded by water. That's for sure. They're surrounded by Karl Johan. So it's like the Oxford Street, but, Oxford Street light. It's more than when you step out into the city, you step out into the heart of the city. When you step out of the Thief Hotel, you step out into Schufolmen. You have the Astrofoni Museum, you have the beautiful Oslo Fjord, you have these fine eateries, and you can wander around, and you can just relax, and it's a whole different vibe. And that's, I think, has been one of our enormous strengths of the properties, to have that kind of profile. Is to just put yourself in a position and in a location where people can still travel, they can get from A to B, but they want something different now. They're looking for that experience that takes them a little bit away from the hustle bustle.
Ja, men jeg hater også å bruke ordet luksus, men jeg tenkte litt på sånn der
It's a hard word to replace, that's why.
Ja, det.
It's a super hard word to replace.
Bare sånn litt jeg vet ikke om vi kan sammenligne det, men jeg føler at alle, uansett om man sier at man lever et veldig vanlig liv uten å ha de store utskeielsene, så det sånn, jeg tror folk bare det å ta taxi, tror jeg folk som tenker på altså, det litt luksus å ta taxi. Tror du ikke det? Sånn der, det den følelsen av, du ser mange sånne saker nå, sånn der universitetet I Oslo, de har jo tilgang på elbiler, de som jobber der og sånt. Det er masse mulighet til å komme der rundt da. Det et eller annet med den der, jeg tror det et eller annet med det der verdigheten av å ta taxi, at du setter deg bak I bilen, betaler toppdollar for å komme deg fra A til B. At det en slags, kanskje ikke ordet luksus, men det ja, skjønner du hva jeg vil igjen?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I also think that people, even though they have money, they're looking for a new experience. I'm convinced that, as I say, when we started talking about the informality of service, it's the approach. You can charge as much money as you like for whatever it may be, but it's the approach. It's how you actually deal with that person. How do you look at that person? How do you interact with that person? What are you giving that person? What's the experience they're experiencing? What is the value of what you're providing? And I'm a great believer in value for money. Real believer. So of course selling the most expensive hotel in the country is a challenge, but I truly believe we'd give value for money. I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe so. So the two, there is a logical equation there, and the equation for me works. If it didn't work, I wouldn't do it. But I truly believe if you're going to pay 10,000 to stay at the hotel,
så det mer for bare overnatting.
Sorry?
Ja, så det mer enn bare overnatte.
Oh yeah. You will experience something completely different. Completely different.
Jeg vet jo om venner som bor her I området og I Oslo som får seg barnevakt, og så bor de overnatter på det SIF.
The staycation, we call it.
Ja, staycation. Det nye? Yeah. Staycation. Jeg har aldri hørt om. Ja, men det sier bare sånn der, man trenger jo ikke å dra langt for annen mål. Det virker som mange som drar på ferie på det SIF. Eller bare for å få seg en nattvekke fra unger og faenskap.
And also, it's once again, you're walking into a very international environment. It's not as if you're walking into a hotel where it's all vanlig vafler and, geitost, and even though we do have those two elements, you're spending time somewhere else. And it's very easy to escape in the thief. You sort of walk in and suddenly you're surrounded by it. It's not as if it's not there. It is there. You'll hear the different languages being spoken. You'll see the staff interact with you in a different way. You're surrounded by, as a Richard Prince, Niki de Saint-Phal, and, these things are there for you. You can sit there and have a cup of coffee in the lounge and just enjoy the moment. I mean, I'm a great believer in that every person who enters that door actually adds something to the property. You are part of it. It's not as if you're just staying there and going. Whatever you do whilst you're there will contribute to the actual moment. And I think people are very much encouraged to bring themselves forward if that's what they want. They have the space to do it. Because the informality allows you that space. The formality, if I stand there, Mrs. Jones, and everything's very, very formal, and there's no space there because that's the distance we keep. Once we break that barrier, then the world's your oyster.
Men den vakre visjonen her, har du noen gang tvilt på at det skulle fungere? I starten for eksempel av The Thief, har du noen gang tenkt på sånn, shit.
Never.
Aldri.
Ever.
Aldri tvilt.
Ever. I've never had a doubt about anything I've ever done. Never.
Det jo helt spesielt.
Never. Never will, otherwise I won't do it.
Men ikke det minste, men hva har du...
Never. I can't, that doesn't even exist in my DNA.
Shit.
Because I know that, I know what I can do, and I know I will do everything, and the people around me will do everything to make this work. And I have an unmovable belief in what I do, and I've always had it.
Men det det etter at du har liksom bygd opp The Thief og gjort deg de erfaringene og fått en visjon til å leve, det da du har begynt med foredrag og snakke mye om det her med service og branding og sånne ting? Det det?
Say it again, sorry, what was the question?
Etter du har gjort The Thief-prosjektet, det da du har begynt med foredrag med branding og det å reise rundt?
Yeah, it's a spin-off from The Thief because I think people have been very curious. I've had a lot of questions about how we did this. How have you actually achieved this? And the only way I can actually do it is actually walk into an arena and give them the time that's needed to explain how we've done this, because there isn't a magic formula in a sense. It's a lot more. How would I explain it? It's you have to be able to get the message across. You have to be able to explain to people how this is done. And it's as simple as talking to people, because I have a presentation and I have films and I have PowerPoints and I have bits and pieces sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to. But I did a thing for BMW, and it was the big wigs. I mean, the big guys came in and they just said, "Listen, can you just open up this seminar we have, and all these guys are coming in?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I actually stood in the middle of a room just for an hour. I just talked.
Ja.
Just talked to them.
Fra hjertet.
From the heart.
Men det var...
And it was superb.
Ja.
It was really, really good. I enjoyed every moment of it. I think it was a real eye-opener for them. But they were very curious if what we were doing could be duplicated or used in the car industry. In their sales pitches, in their workshops, in their showrooms, in how the reason that we'd had such an effect was what I was telling them, and actually, could we actually take that into the car industry, for example? I got asked by SAS the same thing. I did the same thing for SAS. Can this be brought into the airline industry?
Det kompatibelt med andre ting?
Exactly. And I would say 100% yes.
Det kompatibelt? Husker du første gang vi møtte hverandre? I 2011, 2010?
Go on.
For jeg tror faktisk, jeg har sikkert hørt om det. Alle har jo hørt om det. Alle vet jo hvem du er. Jeg tror du er den mest kjente personen som ikke er kjendis i Oslo. Og jeg tror du tog kontakt med, for jeg tror jeg var prosjektleder i NRK på en tiden, og du hadde Extrema-festivalen
right.
på Kalvøya.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
og da hadde vi et kjempefint møte, og du presenterte jo dritten ut av det prosjektet der, for å si det sånn. Og så fant vi ut at vi har jo masse, du kjenner jo søsteren min, og hele pakka der. Og da husker jeg det var jo Extrema Outdoor, det var jo noe ganske annet enn nesten alt du har gjort, eller vi har snakket om i dag. Altså, det en utendørsfestival, nederlandsk konsept, på Kalvøya, altså, det var litt galskap det greiene der.
I got buried on that one, my god.
Altså, det var 2010, 2011, og det finnes jo mange YouTube-klipp av det, men et av de YouTube-klippene som ligger høyest oppe jo der når du snakker med TV2 om narkotika på...
And I got busted live on TV, do you remember that?
Hæ?
I got busted live, I think, on TV. Not me personally, I wouldn't have drugs, but it was they were filming and somebody was in the background getting done by a dog. Or it was just, yeah. The thing about Extrema was that I met Marcel Mingus, who was another big up Marcel.
Han har hilst på, han sinnssykt kul fyr.
Top boy.
Ja.
And one of the best festival producers in Europe. I mean, this guy is ledge. He came to me and asked me if I wanted to do this, and I was very curious about it all. And as I say, it's a very long story.
Skal vi forklare hva det kjappere?
Well, Extrema it was a Dutch concept, but what they did is they put a festival together with DJs, just to cut to the chase. But some of the best DJs in the world, and it was generally electronica, let's say.
Yes.
And they did, I mean, you're talking some of the best DJs in the world. These are the big stars, you know. And he asked me if we could do it in Oslo, and I thought it was a bit of a whack idea, but why not? And then he came up, and he'd in fact convinced the commune to give him Kalvoya. And when I saw that, it was amazing. The location was absolutely brilliant. He always does things around water. It's very much his concept, and he does the same in Holland. Anyway, when he came with this idea, I was very into production, but in all honesty, I don't really like the music. It's not really my flavor. I'm much more of a soul, funk, jazz, blues, reggae kind of guy.
Jeg mistenkte det, skjønner du?
Yeah, no, I didn't like the music. Still don't like the music, to be honest with you. But I love the production.
Yeah.
I can't get my groove on. I can't groove to it. It's just not possible. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But he asked me to work on the production and do the whole thing for him, which I did, and I worked a year. Every gig took me a year's work, and I was working. There was a few people around me, but it was a lot of work alone, in a sense. And I tried to convince him that we should do things a little bit differently in Norway, possibly change the name, because the whole Dutch profile and the DJs and the whole connotation of needing something else to make the party happen was very much part of the culture of that dance culture. And of course the police clicked into it, and it went. The production was really good. The stages were brilliant. Location was stunning. You know, he did exactly as he said he would do, and he did it the right way. The problem was that the police decided to use the festival as literally a training ground for everybody involved in narcotics, including the four-legged kind. Every dog was on the premises. It was the most policed festival in the history of Norwegian festivals, without a doubt. It was draconian. And of course they found people with drugs.
Og det var jo helt perfekt for politiet å jobbe også, med Kalvøyabrua, ikke sant? Du kanaliserer jo alt, det var jo ingen andre veier inn der, så
they had spotters on the way in, they took people on the way in, on the way out. It was draconian. It was hardcore. But what we tried to do, and this is the one issue I had with the commune, was that we had an outstanding production. We were financed, and we were serious, and we had the best DJs in the world. Now, these dudes are flying around the world. They're not openly doing drugs or promoting drugs. These are business people. I mean, you talk to Armin van Buren. The guy's not talking about drugs. He's talking about his private jet and how much you're going to pay him for his next gig in Marrakesh. I mean, these guys are they're very, very good at what they do. And Armin van Buren was one of them who said, listen, I will come out and I will say, we are anti-drugs. We want to do the first anti-drugs festival. And that was the idea I came to the commune. It's okay, 2 years it's not been brilliant, and because there are drugs in Norway, that's just a fact.
Yep.
How about if you back us and we do the festival every year? We do the anti-drugs festival. We will be a drug-free festival. We will do the production. We will bring as everybody you can see, all the greatest DJs in the world, and you'll be the first commune in Norway and possibly in Europe and maybe in the world to do an anti-drugs festival. How about that? Nei, they were like so negative, and no, you bought the drugs. There was no drugs here. You bought the drugs with you.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Yes.
I'm like,
så det var oppvaskmøte etterpå.
We had meetings with the commune and everybody.
Og politiet.
Trying to convince, and the police, trying to convince them, let's do this together. Because in fact, all you got to do is jump on our bus. We have the coolest bus in town, with the coolest DJs in town, with the best production in town, with the best stages in town. all you got to do is jump on. And we will promote the first drug-free festival.
Jeg husker også at det var en veldig profesjonell avviklet festival. Det gikk jo mye på Kvarten, HV, og det var jo, jeg synes det der holdt et helt annet nivå.
Ja,
så var det mye man må uflaks med, at vær og så videre var ikke, ja det var det var på en måte, men det var jo de her narkosakene kom faen meg med en gang, husker jeg. Det var jo helt, det var massivt.
Got the front cover of VG and Dagbladet.
Og det er jo sjangeren som egentlig, det henger jo igjen fra sjangeren fra gamle dager også da. Jeg tenkte jo med festivalen, ok, dette her er en respark av Hyperstate, Subcity-tiden, ikke sant? Samme type musikken, og egentlig samme type folk også, nesten. Så...
But in all honesty, there is an issue. I mean, people do, unfortunately, believe that they need to take something to highlight the, to make the experience better. What can you say? I mean, I'm not sure if you could take any other festival in Norway and probably have the same effect if you put the same amount of police or dogs. Or,
det tror jeg.
You probably would.
Ja,
but we were walking down, we were on thin ice, and that was for sure. And, the whole extrema thing. And it was, but,
Ligger I navnet.
Yeah. It was there. It was waiting to happen in a sense, and it was unfortunate because we were very professional, we were very serious, and we really tried to put something together that was unique in this country. And
jeg lurer på hva kommunen tenkte eller forventet. Altså, hva var det fordi de tillot jo for 2010 første året, gikk det greit da? Var ikke så mye?
No, it was all we got away with it.
Okay.
But there was a little bit, there was malarkey there. There was something going on there. So, I just found it. I'd probably still be doing it now if they hadn't have actually pulled the plug. And I'd be promoting the first drug-free festival, simply believing that you can have a great time without taking drugs.
Jeg har vært på noen festivaler I England, en del festivaler I England og litt I Europa og sånn, og det er uten sammenligning, så det så sjukt mye mer narko og drugs alle andre steder enn I Skandinavia da. Det mye sikkert I Skandinavia, men det ikke sammenlignbart da. Det sånn, jeg følte når jeg var på Lovebox-festivalen et par år I London sentrum, I Victoria Park, og jeg følte jeg var den eneste personen som ikke gikk på noe der. Men vi festet så jævlig hardt at folk kom bort hele tiden og spurte om vi skulle ha noe, så det var jo til, vi gjorde en bra jobb der da, som vikinger på festivalen.
They don't have the same approach to, as you know, in London and in England and other countries. It's not the same approach to drugs. They have a better understanding, in a sense. Det noe med kultur nå? Det liksom at den klubbkulturen mye mer satt og har mye mer historie I England enn I Norge? No, I think it's just an understanding. I think to do anything about anything, you need to have an understanding of what you're dealing with. And if you don't have the understanding, you're dealing with something that's completely foreign to you. And I think the English and the Dutch and the French and the Germans, or everywhere, maybe they have an understanding of how these things function. In Norway, it seemed to be a fear rather than an understanding. And to combat something, you need to understand. Also, you need to have credibility to the people you're speaking to. And the reason we thought we had such a great idea is that these DJs have massive cred. And if they're to say to you, listen, drugs isn't a good idea, we ain't doing drugs, it's not cool, it's just not where we're at. Not saying it would change your opinion overnight of drugs, it might not, but it might make you start to think about what you were doing with your life. And branding the more you do it, and the more you do it, the more you explain, the more you try and understand that these are the people who have the issue, and they're here, and this is where we can speak to them, because when they're in their basement in their fancy house and the parents have gone to the mountains and all the kids are there and they're all doing drugs, you can't get to them there because they're in a basement, but you can get them at a festival because they're there.
Altså, gå på hvilken som helst klubb I Oslo da. Jeg husker jeg var veldig mye på klubb I begynnelsen av 2000-tallet. Altså Sika Mekanik og hele Røkla bortover der og alle I klubb. Altså det var jo faen meg, det var 80-90% var jo drugga der. Og jeg drakk jo nesten bare sprit, og det funket jo bra for meg liksom, men det jo, altså du skal, om du arrangerer en svær festival eller en klubb, altså det kommer til å være der uansett da. Så det liksom, skal man stenge alle klubbene da, eller?
As I say,
jeg har ikke noen løsning på det, men
no, but I say once again, it's having an understanding. I think it's essential.
Tror du legalisering vil hjelpe?
I'd be totally for it. Totally.
Til hvilket nivå da? Marijuana?
Yeah, weed. Yeah, no, don't go mad. No, stop at weed. Yeah, people smoke weed. That should be fine. But the rest of it, no. I don't. I think that's a little bit. Yeah, no, I wouldn't go anywhere near that. But I've seen an example. The example I had was on a train going through Majustra, and there was this boy on the phone to his parents, and he was smacked out. He was really not good. And he was on the phone with his parents, and I could just read the scenario. They had no idea that their kid was on smack. And this was a young boy. And I prefer to know what smack looks like. And the symptoms of smack, the symptoms of any drug, that I could look into my kid's eyes and say, no, you ain't drunk, you's on drugs. You's taken something. Because at least you know, and then you can do something about it. So, no, fool, no, he's not. He's on something else, mate. You want to maybe have a little word in his ear about that one. So having the knowledge, I think, and I grew up with in a family where there was drugs, was my big brothers, and they were smoking, and I knew all about it. So I know, and I've been around clubs long enough to just look into your eye and say exactly what you're doing, and I can see if you're drunk, and I can see if you're high, or if you're both. And it's better to know. It's much better to know than not to know. So I would, that's what I'd say. It was it's instead of having a fear, have an understanding, and then you can possibly do something about it. But without an understanding, you have no idea.
Jeg har alltid tenkt på, skal jeg prøve noen av de tingene, bare for liksom å få en enda dypere forståelse for...
I wouldn't recommend trying it in a sense. You can probably find out or know a little bit about it without going into too much detail about trying it. But,
jeg har alltid tenkt når jeg blir gammel, så skal jeg prøve alt. Kommer det følelsen til å forsvinne?
You know what you'll find. But you know what you'll find? You'll find the greatest high is the natural high. I promise you. I work with them all. And I've seen them all, and they've all been through every drug, party, orgy you can imagine. They're all clean now.
Ja, ikke sant?
And they've all realized that the greatest high has been staring them in the face forever, and it's the natural high.
Nå spiller de fotball og går fjelltopper.
Yeah, exactly. But they're all personal trainers on green juice, and all healthy. And
Det jo en spesiell, veldig bra trend, da. Det denne folk, jeg tror aldri kan huske at det har vært så treningsfokus. Som nå.
You want to keep yourself in shape, mate. You've got to deliver.
Jeg synes det bra, ja.
I think it's fantastic. But you've got to deliver. You've got to wake up in the morning and deliver. If you don't deliver, somebody else will.
Trener du mye, eller?
Football.
Bare fotball?
Give me a ball and I'll chase it. Any way, shape or form, I will chase it.
Men det det eneste du gjør? Altså for å holde det tempoet du gjør, da? Du er snart 60 år.
I'll be 56 this year, yes.
Ja, så snart 60, og du holder jo helt sinnssykt tempo. Du ser dødsbra ut, og det jo... Altså... Det kun fotball, that's it.
Yeah, and well, I fish, I hike.
Fisking,
through,
ja. Det din yoga, det kanskje?
Yoga?
Ja.
No.
Det fisking din yoga.
Oh, that's my yoga, yeah, without a doubt. That's fantastic. No, it's more, I'm very good at training when I'm focused on something else, like chasing a ball or chasing somebody. Put me in the gym, I'm a little bit bored. Jogging is like, do I have to?
Det helt jævlig.
Do I have to? Where am I going? I've got to come back. Cycling, I kind of like to. Swimming, I used to love. Just to love swimming. Fantastic training. But it's basically, if you put me on a football pitch, I will run all day. I love the whole football thing. So it's probably the easiest way for me to train. It's the most enjoyable way for me to train, is that. But I, as you say, there's a training culture around us, and I'm all for it.
Det jo ganske sånn vinnerkultur, eller I hvert fall sånn make it or break it-kultur blant de unge. Med alt dette her, så kan man diskutere om det sant eller ikke, med dette her presset da, med unge folk som føler at de må bli noe. Det ikke nok med å bare bli noe enkelt. Så, alle skal leve drømmene sine da, og få en drømmejobb og leve et fantastisk liv. Altså da... Har du noen tanker om det?
The pressure is on, for sure. Yeah, you got
det noe forskjell fra før, egentlig?
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. But I think it's organic. There's competition out there now. You got to deliver. Yeah, you got to deliver. I mean, if you go back in the day when I first started in industry, the sort of business lunch, and the guys just sitting around with bottles of wine, and it's all drinking up, and in the evening they continued, and it was all didn't really matter the next day because it matters the next day now. The guys I got in the Thief now, these are all the busy 30-somethings, and they're on it. They're in the gym 7 in the morning. They have breakfast 7:30. They're out 8:15. They're gone. Cars outside, boom, off they go, boom.
Shit.
They're ready.
Ja.
And we sort of looking at our dietary presentation, the way we present breakfast to work to coincide with that lifestyle. Of course, we have the croissant, we have the pancakes and stuff, but you also have a very fine selection of organic foods and vegetables. So, and it's very interesting because when you put out, say, 10 slices of cheese, instead of taking 5, you'll take maybe 1 or 2. And of course, we'll replenish. And then at the end, you walk down, and in fact, when you walk at the end of the Thief, at the end of the buffet, the breakfast buffet, you see people's plates are very diverse and very colourful. They've got a lot of different things.
Du tar alt en av hver.
Yeah, little bits. And it means
you're faktisk det selv også, ja.
It's a really cool way of actually
utvide.
Yeah, just sort of guiding people through dietary suggestions, if you like, to say, listen, just have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then at the end of the day you'll feel, but by the time you get to the meeting, you're going to be fine.
Så hvis du I Tjuvholmen-området klokka 7 om morgenen,
come and have breakfast.
Kom innom The Thief, det
exactly.
Nydelig frokost.
I will be there too. I do every morning.
Det sant? Du der på hver eneste frokost?
Every morning.
Wow.
Clockwork, mate. 7 years. It's one of those things you realize how productive it is, because breakfast is maybe one of the only meals that some of these business people will eat in the hotel. It's also you're in a frame of mind at breakfast that's completely different to lunch and dinner. You've just woken up, hopefully, from a very, very good night's sleep in one of our very, very comfortable beds. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. Yeah. And you cannot get through breakfast, you cannot get into breakfast without walking through this particular area. And this is where I stand and I work on my computer and I greet everybody, literally. And depending on what level I know them at, it could be on a good morning, sir, it's free seating, make yourself at home, we'll bring some tea, some coffee. Or to the business, some of the guys I know, I see, because we have so many guests who return, and they, we know the wives, we know the kids, we know the football teams, we know what they like to eat, we know what they like, what sort of coffee they like. So you interact on that level immediately. And if there was a good game last night, or Man U won, or Chelsea won, they'll call Dominic, man, nice game, or you were rubbish last. It's the first thing they'll say. They'll see me out of the lift, and you have that informality immediately, and you just interact with people, and people interact with each other. The whole breakfast, in fact, is a major interactive experience.
Sant.
Og
det det beste måltid da, synes jeg da. Det jo de ganger man spiser frokost.
It is, and it's also the most successful department in our hotel is breakfast.
Okay.
Number 1 always has been, and probably always will be.
Men hvordan måler du det? Det på
just through
økonomi?
No, through social medias, through public opinion, if you like, our guests' opinion, the feedback we get from our guests, the ratings we get. Breakfast is number 1.
Fantastisk.
It's brilliant.
Jeg synes det så fantastisk på å sitte og høre på oss da jeg snakker om hotellet og driften og jeg sikkert vi kunne snakket timevis videre her.
I could go on all day, mate. But we got to go football soon.
Ja, nå må vi dra og spille fotball. Jeg må bare...
My game starts in an hour and a half.
Hei, mye?
Well, my game starts 4:30 and it's 3 o'clock now, so...
Ok, vi får runde her, tror jeg. Det har vært en fantastisk prat her, Dominic.
It was a pleasure. Wolfgang, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. When it was you, I said I had to do it because we don't interact all the time, but when we do, it's always an extreme pleasure.
Ja, og det går liksom av seg selv. Det som vi har kjent på en rådvis. Ja, det var helt nydelig. Jeg har lyst til å invitere deg tilbake en gang
We'll do translational adoption or who should be the next manager of Chelsea.
Vi har masse å snakke om,
translational adoption, you should invite me back for that one. I have a lot of opinion on that one. It's an interesting subject.
Ja, for den biologiske faren din, du har nettopp funnet ut hvem det var.
Yes, he's passed. He passed 6 years ago, but the funny thing was I met my brother and it's a long story, but we met in London and he bought me a picture of my father. And I have, of all the children, I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters from his side, from my Nigerian side. I look just like my father.
Oh my God.
just like
Det må ha vært goosebumps.
It was. And I have this picture of him. I see him every day. He's there, and that's the closest I'll ever be to him. Is the picture. I can see him now.
Wow.
And it's funny because being a physiognomist, which I am, and I've done this whole physical thing, and a lot of my industry is around the physical thing, I've never had anybody who looked like me.
Wow.
Except for my son. Actually, Dylan he's the...
Heldigvis.
Oh, he's the eldest. The two youngest look nothing like me.
Oh.
The eldest, just like me.
Wow.
Same smile. If you put him in a room, you're like, oh, that's Dominic's son. Same, you see a smile come out, you're like, that's Dominic's boy.
Nå har vi jo en nydelig teaser for neste podcast.
Exactly.
Nå går vi virkelig ned I røttene.
Yeah.
Kanskje skal ta litt telefon til Tore på sporet og få noe triks der.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Ja. Tusen takk for at du kom, Dominic. Lykke til på fotballen etterpå.
Thank you very much.
Hvor spiller du på banen?
We are playing Jarmyre.
Men hvor spiller du på banen?
Oh, where do I play? I'll play in front of the back four. I'll play in the back four. I'll play in the back four. I'll play centre back probably.
Ønsker motstanderen velkommen.
I wish them good luck.
Ok, tusen takk for at du kom.
Thank you.
Ha en fin dag.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.